Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. He is Andy Lang, and you're watching the best daily all sports betting show on the planet. And Andy, we got a good one today. Allie Burns joining us right off the bat. She's going to look at a WNBA game tonight, New York versus LA. We're also going to look at the New York Mets versus the Marlins, and Mark Zinno coming on. He's going to look at the Milwaukee Brewers game, and he's got a couple of NFL futures bets that you guys want to stay to hear. Both dog bets, they'll be great. And then Dave Sharapan at the end of the show. Andy, I missed yesterday's show. How did it go? How are you? What's going on in your world?
Well, I don't know about Merrill, but I nailed my spot. I was flawless. Just home run. No, it was great. It was a great show. Small slate of games, but there's always ways to cash some tickets. I loved cashing. We cashed a really nice Women's World Cup play. And what's nice is it's over by like 8 a.m. It's like, alrighty, Our day's already off to a profitable start. It's a great, great feeling. So looking forward to a great Tuesday.
Well, yesterday it was pointed out in the comment section of our show that I was not around to be yelled at for my Canada winning the World Cup at plus 3,200. Plus 3,200. You understand the chances are highly likely if I release 10 plus 3,200s, you will yell at me likely 9 to 10 times. So that's what a plus 3,200 is, folks. A stab in the dark. So I'm okay with it. Andy, let's bring Allie Burns on. Let's get into some actionable info. Allie, back-to-back weeks. It's our pleasure. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you guys for having me. I don't think 3,200, to me, that's not a stab in the dark. If you're setting yourself up, that's highly hedgeable material right there. You know, I'm an arbitrage girl. Just saying, you got value, friend. You got value.
Well, they didn't make it to the knockout stage, so we do not have any hedgeable opportunities here. But that's okay, Allie. I mean, you know, if you're going to give me the Olympic champions like 2 years removed at plus 3,200 in a competition where they're playing all the same teams again, I'm going to take that bet every single time.
So why didn't you hedge it?
Well, firstly, I don't hedge ever. So and we've spoken about this. We've spoken about this on the show before. I don't hedge bets and I don't cash out bets. I'm a mathematical sports bettor. I try, what people don't realize when they're cashing out bets, for instance, you have let's just say you bet $100 to win 190 and, you're up 4-1 going into the ninth inning and they're prepared to give you $170 instead of the 190. A lot of people might look to cash that out. And in that isolated environment, perhaps it's the right thing to do. However, over the long haul, you've just lost 10% of your winning bet. Lose 10% of every winning bet and see how you do at the end of the year, people. That 10%
that's assuming they're all winning bets. You're assuming those are all winning bets and there's no comeback where you lose your bet too.
Sure. But those losses already factored in to the go 54% every year, go 53, go 55. So it's already factored into the math. You're going to lose games along the way. What you don't want to do is get paid less on your wins than you would have gotten paid on your wins, because that'll literally be the difference, the very difference between winning and losing. And Andy, I thought we weren't going to have a BS segment today. That was pretty good.
This is a good one. It's a great topic, the cash out and the hedging. I personally hedge. I don't play very many futures, so I don't really end up in that situation a whole lot. But I do tell people that there are really, really good opportunities for hedging. And this was a phrase we used yesterday, Prez. You'll never go broke if you're always turning a profit. So sometimes I think it's best to take the profits and run. We might disagree a little bit, but I just don't do a whole lot of futures. So, I recommend taking the money, and maybe I'm wrong on it, but I just love guaranteeing myself an increase in the bankroll.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. I feel like in this industry, it's so hard to make any money ever that anytime I can lock in a profit, boom, I'm there. I feel like I'm getting the rake back. Like even if it's maybe like not the most profitable hedge, I didn't lose money. Maybe I only made like $7 on my hedge. I don't care. I didn't lose any money. And that's really, I guess I'm playing like from the other end of the field kind of a deal. But I'm a huge hedger. Arbitrage is my like bread and butter, especially baseball season when I can plus money you and plus money you. And I don't care who wins the game. Let's roll. That's my jam. My freaking jam
listen,
right there.
And Allie and Andy, that makes a lot of sense. And I understand what you're saying. And so let me clarify. Firstly, there's a huge difference between hedging a futures bet and playing these cash outs. From a futures, I almost never
cash out. I will agree with that. I don't cash out. I don't do that. Right. So yeah, just to say.
I almost never make future bets, but I do understand why someone, if they're sitting with a plus 3,200, say the Canadian team makes it all the way to the finals and you've got a huge window to win both, in that hedge. I get it. I understand. And I would suggest doing that in a separate bankroll to what you do on a daily basis. As far as arbitrage goes, I get it. I think it's awesome. I think there's money to be made in both baseball and hockey doing arbitrage. Again, I would run it in a separate bank account. For me, the key is exponential growth, taking advantage of slowly grinding 3-4% of my bankroll bets, getting to the end of the year, having won 54-55% of every bet I put out, and making a profit. I am not interested in making a profit on a Monday when it messes with a potential profit over a 365-day period. Let's get into it, guys. We could have this conversation all day, and I think it's a really, really great conversation that we accidentally found ourselves in. But we need some actionable info. We need some games to give out. Allie, the New York's playing LA in the WNBA. This is not a sport I follow, nor supposedly is it a sport almost anybody follows. But there is betting opportunity. What might it be?
Okay, so Ben is a huge basketball handicapper. He's really solid in basketball. He's actually the number one ranked basketball handicapper at WagerTalk over the past 365 days. No big deal. Tell your friends. So just because there's no college basketball, just because there's no NBA, doesn't mean you can't bet basketball. So that's what we're doing here. We're looking at the New York Liberty and the LA Sparks. Now, these teams just faced each other on Sunday. That game went under the total, but it only went under by a smidge. A closer look showed that LA scored only 11 points in that first quarter. After that, the Sparks averaged nearly 23 points per quarter afterwards. And even with Sunday's slow start, the Sparks scored 79 or more for the fourth consecutive game. The Liberty nearly always go over the 80 mark, and they average a whopping 88.6 points per game. So even factoring in Sunday's result, we are going to roll with the over when New York plays LA tonight. I believe it's at a 167. It was moving around. I saw 66. Ben originally liked it at a 168. And then the number came out at like a 66, and it was like freaking awesome. So over, and that's what we're up to.
Telling all my friends, Ben Burns, awesome handicapper, and he's big. All right, we're looking for the 8-foot tall.
Did you just say Andy's big?
Allie said Ben is a big base, and he's a big basketball handicap. He's big. Yeah. So owns the room. So I told all my friends, look for the big basketball handicapper. He's awesome. Follow all of his plays. Allie, I could not possibly do a follow-up question with this because I'm with Prez. I do not follow the WNBA, and that's okay because there are more than enough sports for everyone to look at. So we default to you on the WNBA. So
if I could say one thing about WNBA, though, I mean, during college basketball season, we're handicapping like 168 college basketball teams. NBA's got what, like 30, 32, whatever it is. There's 12 in the WNBA. So if you can't spend your summer figuring out 12 basketball teams to make some money on, that kind of came out derogatory. You should spend your number or your summer figuring out these 12 teams to bet money on, because it's like they all show up. No one's on an injury bench. Like no one's, sitting out because they stubbed their pinky toe. They all show up. They all play. 12 teams. That's all. Tons of money to be made in the WNBA. But guess what? If you guys don't want to watch it, that's cool. Ben will sell you picks all day long. Hit him up.
Yeah. And I don't think Andy and I are insulting the WNBA. I think we're just saying we don't follow it. I can insult it. I'm happy to do a whole show insulting it, but I'm not doing that now. I'm all for the WNBA. But I will say this, Allie, and again, you stumble across an interesting topic. Yep, 12 teams. 12 teams to me gives you less opportunity. I'd rather play college basketball where there's 400 teams, and I'll just pick 12 to handicap. And those 12 will be the teams that are the least bet on.
You have 400 teams during the summer. They're just all playing baseball. I'm just saying it's an easier league to learn. To get your hands around 12 basketball teams, you figure them out pretty quick. You know the starters, you know who's there. It's like getting into a conference in college basketball.
Yeah, well said, well said. Allie Burns, everybody. Guys, it's $2 Tuesdays over at WagerTalk.com. The way this works is simple. If you have never heard about our $2 Tuesdays, we pick our hottest or one of our hottest handicappers. We make them the feature play for Tuesday. It is only $2. $2. Today it is Ben Burns. Ben and Allie are a team. They are the Burnses, with an apostrophe. Ben Burns after the S. Anyway, Ben is the number one handicapper at WagerTalk the last 31 days in his top plays. That's 4% or up. He's on a 22-11 run in these plays. Today he has one of those big plays up in baseball. It is only $2. So make sure to take advantage of that. Allie, speaking of baseball, we have the New York Mets playing Florida today. How are we betting this game?
They are playing Kansas City and not Florida. You almost made me throw up a little bit. Oh my God. I was like,
I wrote that wrong. I wrote that wrong. That's on me.
Woo. Woo. Okay, so this is a quick one, short and sweet. Quintana's on a comeback right now, and I'm a fan of his. He was really solid 2022. He's been out for a while with this rib injury. He's had 2 starts. He lost both of them, but he's shown improvement. And I'm going to roll with Quintana whilst they're playing a very lowly Zach Greinke and the Kansas City Royals. We're going first 5, though. This is not a full game play. We're going to roll with the New York Mets. First 5. I believe it was a plus 105 last time I saw it. That might be my play for later today on Ben Burns' report.
I'm a touch worried about this one, Allie.
I
got torched by betting against the Royals over the weekend.
Too.
I mean, they just
me too.
They annihilated the Twins. I mean, hands off. Hats off to them that they laid the smackdown 8-5. Walk-off grand slam, 10-7, and then 2-1. So, they get the day off. Hopefully, it breaks a little bit of their momentum. I also got to believe this Royals team is going to regress. It's not like they're going to rip off, 19 wins in a row or anything. But the hot bats, hot team worries me just a little bit. Quintana, a little bit. This would be of the players
I think Andy
I've seen today.
Oh, there we go. I think you froze there, Andy.
I thought it was voguing, but okay.
Oh yeah, it could have been voguing. Anyway, Andy is frozen. Allie, the New York Mets first 5. That's your bet.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't sound too excited.
I have no problem with that bet, Allie. I think it's a good bet, and I think we're going to see Kansas City go back to being Kansas City. As we discussed, it's $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk. Ben is the $2 Tuesday handicapper. What else do you have for us?
Well, guys, don't miss the Ben Burns report. We were 6-2 last week. We've been crushing it on this show. So every Monday, every Tuesday to Saturday, we've got 2 free picks for you guys over at the Ben Burns report. So like and subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Ben has an awesome package out. It's all of his totals. He's a huge totals handicapper. So am I. So he's got a big package out that's all of his totals for the entire year, every sport, every pick. It's under $2 a day. And don't forget also about his anniversary promo that's going on.
Yes.
The anniversary promo is a really big deal. When Ben came over from Covers a year ago, they're taking $1,000 off of his year-long package. So definitely check that out. But most important, like, subscribe, ring that bell, and check out the Ben Burns report. And check out Ben's top.
Well said, Allie. That promo is incredible. $1,000 off a year package of any of the 3 handicappers that came over from the wonderful website Covers. That's Brian Powers, Jazzy Ray, and Ben Burns. And take advantage of the $2 Tuesday, please. Allie, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure. Guys, before we bring on Mark Zinno, I wanted to make mention that I watched just such an awesome movie last night. It was a total accident. The movie is called Hysteria. It's with Maggie Gyllenhaal, Schminan, Jake's brother, Gyllenhaal. Anyway, it's literally about the guy who invented the vibrator. If that is not enough to get you to watch this movie, I don't know what is. It was spectacular. It was funny. It was crude. It was fascinating. It was a true story. Make sure to check that out. It's called Hysteria. It is on Netflix. I highly, highly recommend it. Mark Zinno joining us, everyone. Mark, how are you, brother? I haven't ever had a chance to work with you.
It's great to be with you. And, from somebody else who likes to rub people the right way, I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, look at that. There's a pun. Nicely done. You got to check out that movie, though. It's only an hour and a half, which is like what movies used to be. It is absolutely spectacular. I did see Mission Impossible 8, 42, the one in the cinemas. That was a very long movie for the story. The story was about 10 minutes long.
Oppenheimer is like a full 3 hours long now. Like, it's like Castaway Part 2. Like, you better buckle in for Oppenheimer.
Yeah, well, I'm going to watch Oppenheimer, but that doesn't feel like a movie I need to see in the cinemas.
Agreed.
That's more of an at-home type of a movie. So I will check that out for sure. So, Mark, let's get into your first game, and then we'll talk about who you are, et cetera, as I think this is your first time either on the show or at least with me. You got to bet for us on the Milwaukee Brewers, and this line keeps moving. I went to bed. It was around minus 152. Now there's 160s and up on the board. I don't know if I buy it. I think you like Milwaukee here, but I am worried. This is a team in a little bit of a free fall, and there's just way too much chalk. But talk me into betting the Brewers.
Well, let's compare it to last night when they had Corbin Burns on the mound, and they were priced at around minus 198, minus 195. Basically, you're laying 2-1. And now you get a much more manageable price. And I just saw the same thing you did. I saw last night when it popped up, it was around minus 145, minus 150, and the money is moving. But, the loss in the opener brings their losing streak to 4 games and now falling a game and a half behind the Reds for the NL Central lead. And I may be a glutton for punishment because I actually laid like a half unit last night on the Brewers thinking they were going to snap it against the Nationals in their lowly bullpen. Well, they didn't. So now I feel like I got to come back to it. 4 games for me, guys, is kind of that number where once you get to a 4-game losing streak, it feels like a buy spot just to break it because, you don't see many 5 and 6 and 7-game losing streaks in baseball. It just has that level of regression. Freddie Peralta gets the ball. He was excellent his last start against the Reds, but he did get beat up the start previous to that against the Braves. Peralta's got a 10.8 K per 9 rate, and he's going to need it because the Nationals have one of the lowest strikeout percentages in all of baseball. So But the bigger part of this handicap for me, guys, is about Josiah Gray, the national starter. His ERA at home is a full 2 runs higher in D.C. than it is on the road, which is something worthy of note. His whip at home is nearly 1.6. Now, I know Milwaukee continues to struggle offensively and scoring runs, but it feels situational. They desperately need a win. They got to start scoring runs. And when you add in the Nationals' awful bullpen, which, oh, by the way, second to last in ERA, second to last in whip, and has allowed the most home runs of any bullpen in baseball. And the Nats bullpen last night, guys, goes 3 2/3, gives up 3 hits and 1 run. Yeah, there's some regression coming for the Nationals bullpen as well. I think Milwaukee takes advantage here, and I'll back them on the money line to snap the losing streak.
Andy Lang is back with us, everybody. His internet dropped out. Andy, man, you got to pay the bills, bro.
I pay him too much for this. I need it prorated. I'm going to need 17 cents for that 2 minutes I get back. Mark, you worried about the price here? Minus 154.
Yes. I mean, and the short answer is yes. I'm in that range where I'm not very comfortable with it, but there's enough of the situation here, again, with the 4-game losing streak, and I get the starter that I want on the mound for the Nationals that Milwaukee should be able to take advantage of here, which allows me to sort of expand my limit a little bit on where I'm going to go. Once I get past that 140 range, I kind of generally look in the other direction unless I have something that's overwhelming as far as, that leads me to believe that the price is worth paying. And again, with Milwaukee in the way they are right now, and trying to keep up. I don't think in the big picture they're winning this division. Believe it or not, I think the Cubs probably have the best chance to do it, all things considered. But they need a win, and time here into August now that the calendar turns over, and the Bats should wake up tonight against a bad starter.
Mark Zinno joining us, everyone. Mark, over the summer, for some reason, people keep putting in the chat room, if Andy and I had a fight, who would win? Minus 120 Andy, blah, blah, blah. We've never met. I have no idea how tall you are. I have no idea how awesome your biceps might be. But just looking at that square jaw, I'm picking you. I'm picking you to kick ass in the WagerTalk fight scene, which will never happen. I think I might even pick you over Kyle Anthony, who's pretty damn jacked.
Well, I mean, the short answer is 5'10", 180 pounds. But I generally, kind of consider myself as somebody with maybe the largest bench of any non-pro athlete in the room. So if there's that, I mean, if you had to put an over-under on it,
wow,
I'm curious. Over 3 bills.
On Flex Tuesday, we got an animal on the show, everybody. Over 300. Yeah, look at that. You can always tell it. And you know what, Andy? It's the square jaw. It gives it away. I'm picking Mark Zinno in the Fight Club. Mark, tell us about yourself. Where can people find you? How do you bet? What's your specialty? Let us know all about you, bro.
Yeah, I'm over at Sports Memo. SportsMemo.com is where I post all my plays every single day. And today I'm going to enter into Andy's world here a little bit just to promo the $2 special and get a prop. But Ralph Michaels would be proud of me. This is a trend that is hitting at 73.8% coming into today. And look, I am not somebody who plays a ton of props, to be perfectly honest. I'm more of a sides and totals guy all the way. But, I try to build game scripts as best I can. When it comes to baseball based off of starters and lineups and things of that nature. I've fallen more into the first 5 realm. I got very nauseated and sick with the variance of bullpens in the beginning part of this year. Particularly, there was one game against where I think it was the Astros and the Guardians played where the Astros had a 5-1 lead, then it was 5-5, then it was 6-5, then it was 7-6, then it was 8-7, and eventually they lost 9-8 in extra innings, and I just kind of threw the remote across the room and said, I'm done with this bullpen stuff. So you'll see me play a lot more first 5s when it comes to baseball. But, and when we get to college and college football, SEC, Pac-12 are kind of the 2 conferences I hone in on the most, and, of course, NFL across the board. So, again, sportsmemo.com. Find me on Twitter as well, at Mark Zinno, Zinno, and you guys can get all my great content there.
Wonderful stuff, Mark Zinno, everyone. And just for the record, I'm 54. And I can get close to 200 pounds on the bench press. But it's the pipes where I do my best work. Anyway, Andy doesn't care. Let's get into some NFL futures bet. The first one makes the most sense to me. Yeah. You're going to tell us why Buffalo will win the East. Now, I mean, everybody is high on the New York Jets, blah, 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 blah. Plus 130 for Buffalo to win the East seems like the best future bet anyone can make. I freaking love it. I don't understand why this is plus money. Regale us with your thoughts.
Well, and it's just about the price. I mean, when you look across the board at some of the division favorites, the fact that the Jacksonville Jaguars are minus 160 or whatever it is to win the AFC South, which is a lot more wide open, in my opinion, than the AFC East, is almost laughable. I mean, the Bills at plus money, to me, is a gift. I know the Jets are going to be improved, but go look at their first 8 games on their schedule. If they're 3-5 after the first 8 games, they should absolutely take it. 4-4, everybody who's wearing green in New York should be doing absolute backflips. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is very good. I think he's going to have a good year. But guess what? 2 things can be true. Aaron Rodgers can still have a very good season, and the Jets can still be 4-4 after their first 8 games because they're playing really tough opponents, teams that went to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, particularly across the board. So Buffalo's schedule right out of the gate is super soft. It gets tough on the back end, but this is a team that should go well over their 10.5 wins. And I don't care about Josh Allen's interceptions. You guys can keep barking about this thing. Guess what? If you told me that my quarterback was going to throw 14 interceptions, but I was still going to win 13 games, throw 14 interceptions all you want. You can count on JPP's right hand the number of teams that are going to win 13 games every single year. If I'm going to win 13 games, I don't care how many picks you throw. That's just the bottom line. The Bills at plus money here from a price standpoint are a gift. Jumped all over it. I'm not waiting. I'd take it all the way. They are the best team in the AFC East by a margin that's a lot wider than people are giving it credit for. Nobody wins the offseason like the New York Jets. Nobody creates headlines like the New York Jets, and yet nobody seems to fail to show up when it matters like the New York Jets. Give me the Bills plus 130 to win the East.
Love it, Mark, and I think you're going to be sitting on a good price if they start off 3-0, which they absolutely could. With the Jets, that first game of the Jets could be clunky, then Raiders, then Commanders, so you might be beating the line with this one. So you also like the Minnesota Vikings. They won a lot of really close games last year, but you like them to win the division. What do you like about Minnesota?
Well, again, let's just look at the price here for a moment and just do some comparative analysis here. Last year, I bet on the Vikings to win the NFC North at plus 275 before the season started. Now, the Green Bay Packers were the odds-on favorite, and they were a minus money favorite to win the NFC North. So you can consider the gap pretty wide given the price range of what the Packers were and what the Vikings were last year. Now, I know the Vikings won a lot of close games. We'll address that here in just a minute. But fast forward to this year. The Lions are the favorite to win the division at around plus 150, and that number seems to be dropping because they're everybody's darling right now in the NFL. And yet the Vikings are still priced pretty much the same. Am I to believe that the gap between, at this point last year, the Vikings and the Packers is similar to the gap right now between the Vikings and the Lions? No, it's not. The Vikings are much closer to what the Lions are. And oh, by the way, this is still an offense, and regardless of what you think of Kirk Cousins and whether you watch a Netflix show or not, still a really good quarterback and a guy who produces and puts up numbers. This is an offense that's going to be top 5 in the league this year. So tell me how you're going to stop this offense anywhere. It doesn't matter that Dalvin Cook isn't there because clearly they believe Alexander Mattison could still run the ball at the same level of effectiveness between Justin Jefferson and why is the rookie Jordan Addison, who they drafted. I mean, they still have all the weapons in the world. They have a good offensive line. They're going to score. Is their defense a problem? Yeah, it is. But they may win games 33-30, and that's okay. Now let's address the regression, Andy, because let's just say, for argument's sake, the close games that they won last year, if they fall back 3 games and end up being 10-7, isn't that still good enough to beat the Lions and win this division, especially at that price? Like, why would I turn down the price where it is right now, especially given what it was last year? If this thing was less than plus 200, I would look at it differently. But it's not. I'm getting the same price a year later with a team that's much closer to the team that's in first place or the favorite than they were last year. So give me the Vikings again to win the North.
Yeah, Mark, I mean, this bet makes so much sense. And on top of it, I only think there's 2 teams that could win this division. And ultimately, you might get yourself in a hedge opportunity. Of course, as we spoke about, I don't hedge, but everybody else does. So, I think that bet makes a lot of sense. Mark is the $2 Tuesday handicapper over at Sports Memo, everyone. So if you've never bought from WagerTalk, Ben Burns is the $2 Tuesday handicapper there. Mark Zinno is the $2 Tuesday handicapper over at Sports Memo. What do you got going over there?
Well, there's actually more than one play posted today. Again, we got the prop, and the hint is it actually tails in that Mets KC game. So that's where the prop lies. Again, it's hit at 73.8%, a trend that I'm following here tonight. But a couple of other plays that'll be posted up on the same page tonight over at sportsmemo.com.
Mark Zinno, everybody, outstanding stuff. What's today? Biceps and back?
No, just back today. Yes, Monday was chest day. I'm old now, so my routine is sort of settled in.
Mark, I'm in a WhatsApp group with like 5 or 6 guys. We're all gym nutcases. The challenge this week, if you want to accept it, is 100 pull-ups in 20 minutes. That is.
I mean, I could probably bang out the first 40 in probably the first 10, 15 minutes. So then I just got to get 60 in the last 45. That's a lot of breaks there. That's a tougher the challenge than you think.
There's no chance I will make it. No chance. My friend did it yesterday. Could not move today. That's an insane challenge for this week. 100 pull-ups, not chin-ups, pull-ups in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I would say the majority of people we know can't do one.
Yeah, no, it's pull-ups are one of those exercises that truly measure your ability to handle your own body weight and your true actual strength, because there's really no way to cheat on those. I mean, yes, you can get the assisted ones, but if you're trying to do an actual pull-up, it's just you versus gravity, and who's going to win more. So,
Yeah, that Swiss Souls, throw 185 on a bench press and do 10 sets of 10 in 10 minutes. Yeah, Mark can for sure do that in his sleep. Mark Zinno, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We'll have you back for sure. Outstanding segment. Dave Sharapan joining us now and talk about 100 pull-ups in 20 minutes. Dave does that for an hors d'oeuvre. Dave, welcome to the show.
Good to see you, Prez. What's happening? You and Zinno talking about fitness and all this other stuff. Zinno's a freak, so that's good to know. And, you're nothing but drama, and it's Tuesday, and we got no drama today, so it's all good. That's great.
I think Andy is frozen again, so it is me and you, and I want to just shout out a bunch of the people in the chat room: Fantone, Swiss, UC, David Gray, B. Reed, Rab Maddock, Greg, Biggie J. We love having you in. And Stephen Utterback. Dave, Stephen does not get to see the show live very often. He is today. It's because of you, bro. I mean, when you're on, it's like...
Stop. Would you stop, please? Are these Canadian guys? Where are these people watching the show
from?
This is very important. Well, no, this is good because there's people all over. I mean, the trade deadline is today. There's a lot of things happening, getting texts all morning about who's moving here, who's moving there. So it's good. There's people watching. It's good. Tuesdays are good.
Dave, Mark Zinno came on. Bills at plus 130 to win the division. I freaking love that bet.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not on the Jets like everybody else to win that division?
No, tell me where you would go here.
Whoa. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I don't make any judgments until a little bit later because nothing's happened. We see a lot of videos of guys in, shorts making great catches and throws and all this other stuff, and people are giving out plays. I'm impressed, honestly, for people to have a definitive feel for plays like that. I give them complete credit because I don't know. I don't think it's the Jets. It's either Buffalo or Miami to me.
Miami, I'm not with you on. I think Miami's going to regress this year.
Yeah, that's a fair opinion. There's a lot of people that have opinions. I just don't think Rodgers plays enough games, at least to win a division. They can win 10 games. That's clearly possible. But Jets Nation, Jets fans, they're all over this. They're going to the Super Bowl, Press. I can't even believe you don't even have to win a division.
Yeah, going to the Super Bowl, my tochas. Dave, have you made any future bets in college football or the NFL so far?
No, not a one. Just kind of waiting and seeing. I'm a little biased with the Penn State. I really think the Penn State over is good. If you can find a 9.5, I think they go 10-2 when you go through the schedule. Ohio State and Michigan are the ones they lose, maybe. And then the rest of the games are all winnable. They're favored probably in every single one of them. So that one is just a one. We're doing it on Bostonian versus the book. We're going through season wins right now, 31 days, 31 teams. We started yesterday. So we're doing that. So we're going through. So we maybe come up with some plays in the next week or two as things develop in the pros. The college is such a week-to-week thing, Prez. I don't know how people do. Those numbers are sharp. I mean, I used to sit in the book, and we used to take those bets, and those are tough to beat. We did much better on the college season win totals in the book than we did on the pros. The pros, it's a flip of a coin. There's usually, if it's a totals 8, it's 7, 8, or 9. There's not too many, ones that miss by 4. They don't. If it's season wins, it's 8. You don't finish with 12. That's usually the case.
Dave, before we get into the baseball card today and some actionable info from you, at the top of the show, we discussed the concept of cashing out bets or, hedging, so to speak. And I mentioned that I do not ever cash out a bet. And, Andy was saying, well, he wants to take the money. And I understand that. You bet $100 to win, $190. It's 4-1 going into the 9th. They're going to give you 170. A lot of people cash that out there and take that guaranteed $70. I think it is a radical mistake to do that. Do you ever cash out bets that are winning and you don't get paid? No. So tell us why.
I don't have an app that does it. So in Vegas, they don't have the cash out option. Okay. So I never did. But it would never occur to me to even try because you can hedge out of a parlay and stuff like that, but there's different ways to do it. Those cash outs aren't good prices. You're never getting the best of it when you hit the cash out button. The book knows that. The software prices it as such. We worked with a company called WagerWire. You can go on their website. They actually have a cash out calculator that will tell you exactly what your ticket is worth. And you will see that you will never hit the cash out button again if you see what they're really shorting you in the value of your ticket. So I don't recommend it. But again, everybody's different. Everybody manages their own money. People insist on buying stuff and paying full price for stuff because that's what they want when they want it. Other people will shop and get the best price for the same item. It's the same type of thing. Everybody's different. But if you think you're getting a deal on cashing out, you're not.
Yeah, and Key to Vegas just wrote, what about cashing out on the losers? That's a definite no as well. There is never a time to cash out a bet, ever. The bottom line, guys, and I'm going to explain this again, is you have – and this is so relevant to poker as well. Oh, Prez, I had kings and an ace at the flop. What do? I don't know what you do. And don't ever look at playing a particular poker hand or a particular bet as an isolated incident.
Correct.
There's no such thing. It's not isolated into that day. This is a math equation. If you have the brilliant ability to hit 55% over 1,000 bets, and you cash out 100 of those winners at 10% less than what you would have got paid, you've taken that 55% and you have turned it into a losing year. You cannot cash out bets. Don't ever play poker and be like, what do I do on this one hand? Or what do I do on this one bet? Everything is a math equation. You're going to hit a set on the flop 12% of the time. So either do it every time or don't do it ever. But this is not isolated. Take advantage of the math, Dave.
But sometimes in poker, you know that your opponent, poker's a little different, isn't it? Because you're playing against somebody. So, you might, it varies. Like these things, it's the same situation each time. Now, your personal situation may be different, but whether you're sitting on 3 legs in on a 4-leg parlay or a future ticket that is 3/4 of the way there, that's the same situation every time.
Yes. So for the record, if you have a 14 parlay and you've won 3 legs, cash that out immediately. Why am I not discussing that? Because if you're on a 14 parlay, you're a losing bettor to begin with. So cash out your money. Like, I'm not going to give people advice on what to do with parlays. That would be like explaining to people how to shoot up heroin. I don't know. It is stupid. Don't do it at all. Don't shoot your heroin through your arm or your toe. Just don't do the heroin. Don't do 14 parlays. End of story.
Talking about?
Yeah,
Somebody,
okay, Dave. My analogies might suck
Dan,
today.
what is he talking about? What are you talking about, Chris?
Dave, your wife called. She wants her glasses back. Okay, baseball today. Full slate of games. What are you hearing out there? What do you like?
What is he talking about, Danielson? My goodness.
No,
really
what
don't
I'm
know
saying, Dave, what I'm saying is I'm not going to give people advice on how to deal with a 14 parlay when they shouldn't be doing a 14 parlay to begin with.
Okay. All right.
Simple.
Summed it up. Thank you.
Okay. What do you got?
Cautious betting today with the MLB because you're going to see lines move all over the place. Like if somebody's traded, just use an example, he's not going anywhere today, but if Ohtani was traded today and out of the lineup, obviously the Angels line would move. So I think we can wait cautiously today until 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific, is when the trade deadline is over. I don't think there's going to be any big moves today, Prez. The Mets are done, okay? There's a lot of people that have been talking about the Mets, and they're only 6 games back. I was getting texts last night because Circa moved their price to 5,000 to 1 to win the World Series, and some, snipers came in and grabbed those as best they could. The Mets are playing Kansas City. The Mets are now officially waving the white flag, right? They're minus 150. Minus 150 at Greinke. Kansas City's a play there. Other than that, there's a lot going on. I have not nailed anything down. Yesterday, we got a gift with Cincinnati being a dog against the Cubs. Yep. We wake up today. Odds makers are stubborn. They just insist on sticking to their numbers. Just like you said, it's a math equation. The Cubs have to be favored against the Reds by a bigger number than they were yesterday. I know Lively's not great, but the Reds are better than the Cubs, and you're getting a plus price. So there's 2 games, at least initially, out of it. First day of betting the first day of a series, a little more difficult. I think I like betting after the first game, but like Ralph does a great job putting out numbers where you can see what teams do in first game of series. Take a look at those. Baltimore, plus money against Ryu.
I want to talk about that game.
Yeah.
How is Baltimore plus money here? I mean, listen, I understand the Jays are coming off of a loss, big whoop.
Yep.
Ryu hasn't pitched in a year. Not only is Ryu not pitched in a year, but even if he's lights out, I mean, literally strikes out the first 12 batters. He's still not getting into the 5th inning today. He's going to be on a pitch count. So no matter what, he's only getting 4 innings. Baltimore is a better team than Toronto.
Yep.
That to me stands out. Look, I'm not betting the Orioles today, but that line.
People are, Prez. That line is moving. Don't be surprised if that close Pick'em or Baltimore a small favorite. That number's going to move. Baltimore, it should start at Pick'em and then let the bets tell you. I think they overvalued it a little bit, or they were trying to get you to bet Baltimore. Maybe Bradish doesn't pitch good against 4 guys
he had a bad outing last game.
Lineup.
Bradish had a bad outing last game, and the bats should be live for Toronto tonight. They put up 2 runs in their last 2 games, but before that was like 9, 8, 7.
Right.
So,
tonight's probably an over.
Yeah.
That game probably goes over, maybe first 5 over. But
well, I wouldn't
I don't
take
know.
the first 5 here because Ryu might step up and pitch 4 great innings. If I'm going to go on the over, I'm going to do it on the game, and especially because neither pitchers in the last 2 games. I mean, Alek Manoah on Saturday didn't get out of the 4th, so the bullpen for the Jays are taxed. Jordan Romano is out. Yep. So I wouldn't take the first 5 on the over there. I would look to take the game. And Fantone 24 also points out that, Bo Bichette, top 5 contact hitter in baseball right now, is also out. So, yeah, dude, yep. I mean, I would take the Orioles and the over for sure here. Dave, what do you got to promote?
We got Bostonian versus the Book. It starts at 10:15 Pacific, 1:15 Eastern every day, Monday through Friday. Sports Grid, Sirius XM 159 every day from 4 to 7, in-game live. We do it there. Cash considerations, we're doing it this week at some point when the boys get back from vacation and the other kid in New York gets it together. And MLB Network is, I think right now, I'm texting with the producer, will be either tomorrow and Friday, both or either. Trade deadline review show. I don't know yet what's going on with that. And Prez, are you coming to Vegas in a couple of weeks? Are you going to be here like for the meet and greet? Are you going to?
Nope.
You're not coming?
No.
Oh, no.
You know what, Dave? I've got so much going on, and my next trip, my brother just got elected into the World Toy Hall of Fame. It is in New York. So I will be going to that to support my brother. I mean, it's really an incredible achievement what he just did.
That's awesome.
I mean, they've invented some unbelievable toys. Hatchimals, Paw Patrol, Air Hogs, Bakugan. I mean, these are all toys that my brother's company literally invented. Now they
fantastic.
They own Rubik's Cube. They own Swimways, which is like 80% of the floaties and pools over America.
Can you solve a Rubik's Cube?
Well, no, but I think if you go down once, to the left once,
over
and
twice,
then throw it at your friend, it automatically solves. Dave
what a
Sharapan,
year,
everyone!
Say year again. See you later.
Oh man, bugger off. Will the vibrator guy be there too? I was talking to Dave. You got to watch this movie, Hysteria, on Netflix. It's about the guy who invented the vibrator in the 1880s. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
What's it called?
It's called Hysteria on Netflix. It is so freaking good. I mean, these guys legitimately thought they were doing like scientific medical, like women who annoyed men were called women, but they were called they had hysteria. And in order to fix hysteria, they needed to be sexually pleasured. But it was a medical thing. Like they felt like in the 1880s, they were doing the world a good deed by medically helping these women out. It is spectacular.
All right. Sign off. Goodbye. Enjoy your lunch.
Dan's already watching the show. He's been watching it since it started, since our show begun. It's not a porn, people. That's it for the show. Dave Sharapan, everyone. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We love having you. Listen, if you want us to answer your betting strategy questions, please put them up in the comment section of our YouTube channel. Thank you to Andy Lang for joining us. Thank you to Andy Lang's internet for taking him away from us. Allie Burns, Mark Zinno, and Dave Sharapan. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for your company.